Hi everyone, and welcome to a very special episode of In Bed With. Today we're in bed with Katherine Busby, the ex-PR of Harvey Nichols. She works with top brands and influencers all around the world and now has her own PR and social media agency and also does some journalism. And I'm going to big up her lovely new newsletter, Elevate the Everyday. I resonate with Katherine on so many style subjects, including glitter at the grocery store and making the best of what you have. Thank you so much for coming to bed with me today, Katherine. I'm Aleksandra Olenska. From your home and your wardrobe to your mind and social life, I help you with your stylish next chapter to step into your best life, because I know you're ready to rock life again. You've been talking a lot about elevating your everyday and bringing some magic to your midlife and beyond, which really resonates with my messaging as well. So I wonder if you can share some of that with us.
Yeah, absolutely. So it started probably going from being a sort of city girl, single, fashion as a hobby, fashion very much focused on going out, evenings. In fact, most of my life was based on evenings.
Right.
And then my life changed. I moved to the countryside, had a family, and I realised that life didn't really fit me anymore. And the kind of working your way up to a big night out or getting really excited about something wasn't as relevant. And actually a way to kind of feel like me, but also for it to fit in with my new life was to bring those little bits of, you know, little some really nice jewellery or something shiny, just to kind of elevate those everyday moments. There's been some hits and some misses, you know, wearing big gold boots at a farmer's market. Not a hit. Need wellies.
We do share a love of glitter to the grocery store, don't
Absolutely.
we? But it's about toning it down sometimes.
Yes. I'm finding the magic in the mundane, but also it's not about a caricature. I think as you get a bit older, you really understand what you want from your style, what you want from your life, and it's a lot more about looking at it 360 degrees rather than just a pair of shoes. It's you know, the cup you drink your coffee out of, and which is what you know, when we first met, you were talking about, and it really resonates that it's about those little magic moments.
And that's one of the things that really resonates as well. It's this idea that we talk about a lot on my channel, is that at this age, it's about really expressing all of our sides. It's about being wonderful, multifaceted midlife women, as opposed to just putting ourselves into boxes or accepting the labels that people keep giving us. Even that label, we were just talking off camera about, you know, midlife and, you know, being middle-aged and what does that mean today? And,
absolutely.
you know, and sort of embracing labels however we want to embrace them and exploring different sides to ourselves and giving ourselves permission at this age to explore all the different sides to ourselves and just, you know, because who cares at this point, you know?
Absolutely. And I think it's that confidence in saying, we get put in boxes a lot. So, you know, I think we've spoken again off camera before about how if you're not good at sport at school, then you're not sporty, then you don't do physical activity. Well, that's ridiculous. You just need to find what your physical activity is. And for me, being relatively academic, fashion, clothes shops, because I really like actual physical shops, was for children that didn't do their exams, you know, and they grow up and they can work in a shop.
Right.
You passed your exams, so you have to go and do something very clever.
Right, yeah, fashion was seen as a bit silly, wasn't it? Yeah.
Silly. So I think it was giving myself permission when my life sort of kind of stopped to start again, of saying, all right, I want my own business, and it's okay to say that I want clients that fit with, and it makes sense that if I'm going to represent somebody either in PR, social media, or in any other sort of marketing function, or doing consultancy with them, it makes sense for me to have an affiliation with what they're trying to do. So it's, you know, brands that to deal with sustainability, fashion, lifestyle, and just things that make you smile. And to build that into my business, and then to build that into what we're doing now, which is elevate the everyday.
Right, yeah, Smile Every Day is certainly going to elevate your everyday, isn't it? Absolutely. And I know that you are a big advocate of what used to be known as secondhand, that's somewhat become rebranded, right?
Yes.
And there's so many great online secondhand retailers now. So do you want to share some of your passion for that with us?
Yeah, absolutely. So as you say, I've liked it before it was fashionable, I would say. and it very much was champagne taste, lemonade budget. So you could get things that looked like they cost a lot more than they did. I worked for Harvey Nichols for a long time. They don't pay to look like Harvey Nichols, shall we say. So you learn to kind of find your way around it. But what I really like about it is that in some situations, it's so easy, especially with Instagram, and you kind of get sucked into this is what everyone's looking like, so this is what I'm going to buy. You see loads and loads of the same thing, whereas pre-loved thrifting, however you want to call it, you've got to enjoy it and to do it well. You've got to understand your own style a little bit, and then you can really find what you're looking for, and be realistic about things. If it's too small, it's too small. You can't ask for a bigger one because there isn't one. So I think it's a really nice way to curate a wardrobe rather than just buy.
Absolutely,
And so some of the brands I really like, absolutely, I enjoy buying it online. But the whole kind of pop-ups and sort of pre-loved personal shopping appointments. There's a brand called Relux that you can do some really great, you curate your list and then they'll do a personal shopping appointment for you. And then there's another brand called Wear, who they do seasonal pop-ups of the most amazing wardrobes. So they do a lot of your really big fabulous kind of Instagrammers, and when I'm there I have to remember that I don't have a yacht. I don't spend a lot of time in Miami, and I need nice clothes to meet friends because some of their clothes are just so beautiful, and you get swept away in this dream of, if I owned that, then my life would look like that. But it's bringing it back to your life and how you wear it.
I totally get this. I was at Pippa Vosper's pop-up the other day, which was for charity, and she had these amazing gowns that had been donated from different designers, including Croissant Zhang, and just incredible, like the marabou trimmed. Again, I know we love a bit of marabou. And there was this dress that was just like Margot out of The Good Life would have worn, head to toe fuchsia, diamante strass, a little bit chiffon transparency, tick, 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 the fabulous boxes. But, I'm not going to wear it vacuum cleaning. Or I might wear it vacuum cleaning, but, it's got limited wear in my life right now. So I let it be and bought a pearl encrusted belt instead. So I love that idea of pre-owned as well, that it's about letting go as well. We don't have that, like you said, if you can't find it in your size, then you just can't have it. And there's a pleasure in that, in saying it wasn't meant to be. Absolutely. And I think as we get older, we want to have that feeling, not just in shopping, but in different parts of our life. Absolutely. That wasn't meant to be, but there's good things coming. There's new things coming, because we've proved it already through however old we are, 40, 50, 60 years. And now it's just, let's find the new thing, the fun thing, and appreciate what we have as well. And
absolutely.
And also mixing, if we're going back to clothes, mixing the clothes that we already have. And finding new ways to wear them.
Absolutely, and I think you get to a point that hopefully you've collected some nice pieces, you've got, some basics, your basics, it doesn't have to be the basics that the magazines tell us we need to have, but you've got those. I wouldn't ever suggest, if you needed a really good pair of black trousers, I wouldn't suggest starting in pre-loved, because goodness knows what it's going to be. Whereas if you are at the point where you're just looking for things that will elevate your wardrobe, bring other things to life, and I think pre-loved shopping's great for that. And I think that what I'd really like to, and what I'd like to kind of be able to be or do with my wardrobe is that if you called me and asked me to go to the farmer's market, I've now got wellies and a barber. Or if you called and said, I have got a yacht and you need some marabou, I can do both. And that's what I think a really good wardrobe is, so that you're not going, I'm going there next week, I need to order a load of stuff, panic buy things, and then and then you never feel like you, or think, what would that person look like? And it's never feels authentic, and it never feels, you don't have that same comfort as wearing something that is yours, and you know how it fits, and you know how you're feeling it.
Absolutely, and I think that's one of the amazing things. I remember doing a campaign for Levi's, and we were really focusing on that idea that the best pair of jeans is when you've worn them forever and they've gone soft and they've really adapted to your body. And we were looking at the way that the knees kind of bagged, and you know, the way that your feet catch on the hem at the bottom, and that actually clothing takes on the body of the person that's worn it, which is really beautiful, because it means that our clothing does tell our style story beyond just, you know, as you say, putting things together or buying new things. It's actually a marker of our physical presence as well, and I find that incredibly beautiful.
Yeah. And also when you're wearing something that might have belonged to somebody else, you know, so it's, you know, I wear some of my mum's scarves or jewellery, or I've got a couple of tops that I can still wear. My mum's quite a bit smaller than me, but you have that memory with them, and you know, now that I've got a daughter, there's certain things that I think, you know what, if I buy half a dozen t-shirts from some shop, you know, from somewhere fast fashion, in a year and a half they're all going to be gone, and there's no joy, there's no, whereas if you buy something you really love and you think, oh gosh, somebody else might enjoy that afterwards.
Absolutely.
I think there's something really lovely to that.
I was just recently at my mother's and I was going through some old clothes that were in the garage. You know, that terrible thing that I urge people not to do, but I do myself, which is you're having a clear out, but then you can't bear to get rid of everything. So you kind of put it in a secondary zone. And I did the unpacking of the secondary zone things, the sort of holding zone, to see if I was ready to part with them or not. And I was just overwhelmed by the emotion of picking up the pieces and the memories and stories. And, you know, I am quite sentimental, but just the feeling that comes out can be really quite strong. And it is beautiful to be able to wear pieces that we've inherited, that remind us of our loved ones and those times as well that we've had together.
Absolutely. And I think it's okay, again, when we talk about fashion or enjoying, talking about fashion, talking about style more than fashion.
Yeah.
You know, it's okay to admit that you have those connections to things. Some people don't.
Yeah,
some people are the person that, and you can't expect them to.
Yeah.
You know, my husband has no interest in things, whereas I do, and so certain things I want to keep and I want to look after. Other things, for instance, I found a big box of early 2000 pieces that I'd worn when I was in the middle of my Harvey Nichols PR years. They all went on Vestiaire, and they did really well. Really well. There's a whole bunch of Y2K 20-year-olds now rocking that, because they did not bring back good memories. They brought back, you know, I think that was not a good phase for me.
It is strange, isn't it, when you see, especially at the moment with this Y2K thing that you're talking about, where I saw some teenagers the other day walking down the street and I was like, wow, it really felt like, I know what it was. I went on a tour of the Royal College in London, the Royal College of Art, and they were all dressed how I remember students my age being at that time at university, and it was quite frightening actually. It was quite like, I think that era though, we're in this era of eclecticism. And of repetition, and I think it's going to be really interesting to see, and an era of style, but it's going to be interesting to see where that goes in the future, whether we are going to start seeing real design again, and directional pieces and buying less, hopefully, or whether it is just going to continue to be this amalgamation, this endless cycle. I think there's positives and negatives, but just seeing the Y2K look from your wardrobe on other people, worn head to toe as we did, I find it quite uninspiring and just a bit frightening. Maybe it's a personal thing. But I think, oh God, can't you mix it with something, make it a bit more unique?
And I think there's probably so many conversations, and obviously you end up in your own echo chamber. I had a brilliant conversation. I did an event with Amy Powney from Mother of Pearl, who was talking about, obviously, her whole brand. She started sustainability up.
And she's got her film now. I haven't seen it yet.
So we showed the film, and we had a small group watching it. And one of the things she said, which was really interesting, was that her mum, I think it was her mum, goes to the supermarket once a year, buys a top. Wears that top? Loads. And then when there's a hole in the top, buys another top.
Right.
That's actually more sustainable than somebody buying 50 pieces of sustainable clothing. And I think sometimes even with pre-loved, overconsumption is overconsumption.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're buying and taking that step back and saying, well, I've already got all these things, therefore I can slow down and make good choices. But then when you speak to somebody in their early 20s, they don't have all the things and they haven't done it. And, you know, would I kind of go back and not run through Topshop covered in glue, just buying stuff? No, you know, it was fun and I enjoyed it. So, it's hard, I think, to suggest to younger people that they need to buy a lot less and buy more expensive pieces. But it was really interesting listening to Amy talk about kind of just making your own slower choices, more informed choices, and through that helping other people to make theirs.
I think that's interesting, and also it's quite a traditional approach, isn't it? Like when we think of fashion of years gone by, you know, from the 1950s or 60s, and of course we look at it with the edited version of the past, but nevertheless you had a silhouette that would be the dominant silhouette of that era, and you'd wear that, as you say, until it was, you know, worn out, or you know, you had a very limited number of pieces in your wardrobe. So the wardrobes also were much smaller, and then at the end of that year or those few years, you know, you would change a few pieces, and there is a great pleasure in that, but it's just not the way that we consume these days. And to go backwards from many people would be very difficult. But then we all know that feeling as well of sometimes when we go on holiday, or you know, we're sort of forced. That sounds like, you know, a bit strong, but you know, where we are forced, we have less pieces with us, and suddenly it's actually liberating, isn't it, to just have to make do with what we have and put things together in more inspired ways, and get creative with what we have. And I think there can be a great deal of fun in that too.
Absolutely. And I think finding your own capsule, like you say a lot, you know, it doesn't have to be that magazine 9 pieces that everybody wears the same, because that doesn't suit everybody, and it doesn't suit every style. But having a more edited collection and knowing that, you know, I love first week of October, I'm always going to bring out the same cashmere jumpers that I've had for years, since I worked at a cashmere company about 10, 11 years ago. Some of them survived the winter, some of them not so much, but then you can add to it. But there's just something so comforting to have them for that next year, and know that when the weather changes a little bit, then you can add that layer, rather than getting caught out almost, and not feeling yourself because your clothes don't support what you want to do that day.
Absolutely. Not just what you want to do that day, but also how you want to represent yourself and feel at this point in your life, I think is so important, beyond that picture perfect magazine or social media life that we're never going to have. It's making the most of what we have in every way. On jumpers, I mean, I've just had a terrible attack of moth. They've been really bad this year, I think, because of the crazy weather. And I have got some exquisite cashmere pieces, and I'm looking at them, and I can see the nibbles, and I'm thinking, actually, okay, I'm going to get them repaired. And you know, here in Europe, we are fortunate enough to have repair shops still. You know, Retouche in Paris. You know, some really skilled secret repairers, but also there's loads of stuff on social media right now that I think is quite brilliant, where they're showing like different embroidery techniques, or like beading, and actually it's a way of sort of pimping up your jumpers, where you're making a positive out of the fact that you've had moth. Oh, I don't really believe that. I don't think moth are positive.
There's nothing positive about a moth.
Anyway, but yeah, really about upcycling in a way your own pieces.
Absolutely. I think looking after your clothes, moths aside, but it's something that has come to me later. Probably I used my floor as a wardrobe for a long time in my 20s. I was not very
Confession
organised.
corner,
I was terrible. But you know, now I really look after my clothes. Go to places to get them fixed. You really pay attention to the labels, that sort of thing, and it does make a massive difference. And also when you want to get dressed in the morning, and I know most people discovered this when they're a lot younger, but if all your clothes aren't on the floor or in a washing basket
or on the
chair, then it's a lot easier to see what you've got and not think, oh, I need to buy, because you've got your own little.
That's so true.
Little shopping wardrobe.
It's so true. Visibility is so important. Hi everyone, I've got some really exciting news. I'm going to be launching an online group course, Effortlessly Parisienne, Embrace the Art of French Living and French Style Mastery. This is a totally new way to work together and master the art of effortless French style for your home, wardrobe and lifestyle, so that you feel refreshed, renewed, full of vim and vigour and joie de vivre. There will be discussions, demonstrations and one-on-one advice in a small group of like-minded women. The course launches very soon, so drop me an Instagram message saying oui if you're interested, and in the meantime check out my Effortlessly Parisienne free guide below. See you soon! So Katherine, could you share a few tips for the viewers about elevating their everyday wherever they are in the world?
Yes, of course. So the idea of the newsletter is to bring together some of the things that I do or friends do that do just that. So it can be anything from buying some fresh flowers and just having them on your desk, or having a lovely candle and lighting it, not just saving it for when you have
not saving it for best. Yeah, that's a big thing, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the big ones for me is fabrics and sort of clothes that feel nice.
Oh, yeah.
So at the moment I'm obsessed with velvet for winter, just because it's that tactile and it just elevates anything, makes you feel nicer. And then also places to go and things to do with other people. I think one of the things we all missed out on a lot during COVID was how much other people and conversations with predominantly women we really missed, and like finding opportunities to meet up with people, not just going for drinks, not just going for dinner. So I often like to share kind of workshops or retreats or things you can do that both that you learn, because I think learning new things is a brilliant way to elevate every day, and also meet other people. So I'd say that the main things to consider when elevating the everyday are your surroundings. So whether it's scent, flowers, then a bit of mindfulness, a bit of taking time for yourself, really good coffee, and then what you're wearing, and starting with how it makes you feel. So never something that you can't breathe in, or sit the way you want to sit, but it also maybe not tracksuit pants, because they are comfortable, but you're going to lie down more.
I know. I don't know whoever said that comfortable and stylish can't be in bed together, right? And you're proof of that.
Absolutely. And I think that there is a time for tracksuit pants, probably when you're exercising, but also if you wear them with something else. 'Cause I do think you can instantly make yourself feel like you're having a day off sick if you just put, if you get up and you don't make an effort, you immediately start the day in that trajectory. I think that's really, really important. And then connection, so finding ways in real life to meet up with people, do things, learn things.
I love that idea of mixing self-care with social time. It's a bit like going on dates, isn't it?
Absolutely.
It's not just, and dating at this age doesn't just mean dating a guy or your husband or your partner. It's about taking yourself out on dates and about dating women, and that's not just about going for dinner or going to the movies. As you say, you can find new activities to do and breaking out of one's comfort zone and trying things together with your friends that maybe you're not so sure about, or that just maybe feel on some level silly, like we were talking before about fashion, or even if it's just like painting some ceramics or something, which frankly I'd really love to do, but I've always thought it was a bit of a childish activity, or a bit silly, but could be fun, right?
Absolutely, it could be fun. And I think that finding opportunities to spend time with people that inspire different elements of who you are, who you want to be, learning different things, and it just pushes who you are, and all the different facets of your life as well.
Oh yeah, we love a bit of multi-dimensionality here on the YouTube channel. So a lot of my work is about intentionality and finding the small details and uplifting your life, which really matches with what you're talking about as well. And I wondered, did something happen in your life? Was there a transitional moment, as I often talk about with my clients? Did something happen that made you want to bring people together, bring women together, and write your newsletter to inspire others?
Yeah, I think so. So I, from early 20s, have been a big believer in all the different manifesting type journeys and like focusing on what you want your life to look like. And I'm very much was a bit two-dimensional. I had this fashion life that I wanted, and then I was like, right, I want house in the countryside, husband, baby, Labrador. It's going to look like that. Then I woke up and I had it, and I was like, oh God, I'm only 37. What is this it? Like, what do I do now? And oh, I still like clothes, and oh, I still like going out, and where are all my friends? And it was just, I had created quite a two-dimensional version of what a happy life might look like. And then, so it's been very intentional to both build a business that supports how I want my life to look, both from being able to spend time at home with my family, but also being able to be in London, travel a bit, to be able to see different people and spend time with different people, and then to kind of build from the work side, the kind of mortgage paying work side, to the more hobby and interest of Elevate the Everyday, which is a lot more personal, and to really focus on ways you can kind of curate that life. And I think, you know, I absolutely still believe in manifesting and positive thinking and meditation, but I have a much more rounded view of it now, and wouldn't hopefully fall down such a narrow path. And I think, again, that's why it's really important to spend time with different women, spend time with different people, different places, because you can get very tunnel vision of, this is my life now, this is what I have to wear because this is what everybody else that lives by me wears, this is where I have to go on holiday because this is where everybody goes. And actually to see more and do more means you can build your own life.
So Katherine, do you have a closing message that you'd like to share with the lovely ladies?
Yes, I think the way I like to think about every day, and the Elevate the Everyday message is to really think about how something feels, not how it looks or how it should be.
The shoulds.
The shoulds. And if the more you get in touch with how something feels, whether that's a shirt on your back, a cup of coffee that you're drinking, or the place that you have to go every day for work, the more you create that sort of elevated everyday.
Thank you so much. So Katherine, we've just had a little special request from the producer here, off camera. Apparently we've both got beautiful rings and hands. What a lovely compliment, thank you. And she'd love to hear more about the story of our rings. So I wonder if you could share them with our audience.
Yeah, so I mix silver and gold. Mainly I like gold. My husband prefers platinum, so if he buys me things, they tend to be platinum. No, I buy myself things, they tend to be gold.
Buying yourself jewellery, great.
Yep, absolutely. So probably these ones, the most sort of special. This is my mum's wedding ring.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's very unusual.
Yeah, so it's sort of like a giraffe pattern.
Yeah.
And then on my little finger, I've started wearing, I have quite big hands, and they move a lot. So I think I use them to express things. So I wouldn't wear this many rings if I was having quite a formal meeting, because they make quite a lot of noise. But on days like today I can. And so on my pinky ring, I've started wearing 2 rings. I saw Gucci Westman, who we both love, doing a makeup tutorial, and she had these like lots of rings on one finger. I was like, I need to do that. So this little bee is from Alex Munro.
So cute.
And then this one is from a wonderful friend who has a brand called Loft and Daughter, and so she works with cooperatives out in India to bring her designs to life. And I actually met her in the playground because I liked her jewellery.
Oh, wonderful. I love that. And accessories can bring you together. I often talk about that, yeah.
So I was like, there's a mum I want to be friends with. Little did I know that she has this brilliant brand. So yeah, that's the story of my jewellery.
Oh, gorgeous. Thank you.
So over to you. Tell me a bit about your jewellery.
I love the sound as well, like the click-clack of the jewellery that bangs together. I'm sure it's not very good for the jewellery, but it's kind of comforting, isn't it? This is my family piece from my grandmother, that's like an Art Deco meets Art Nouveau piece. And this, actually all of the jewellery here is from the female members of my family. I love, because my grandparents left all of their jewellery during the war, you know, they had to leave everything, and my grandmother buried her jewellery in the garden in the Ukraine. It's long gone, sadly. So I feel a real connection to jewellery and my family when I wear my jewellery, especially my rings, because I see them every day. So this is I bought myself this little pinky promise ring, I call it, because I wanted to leave a client. And you know how it is, like you were saying, when you've had the dream job, you've worked in an industry that you really want to work in, and then you realise that maybe it's not exactly how you thought it was going to be. But then it's like everybody's saying to you, wow, you've done this, you've achieved this. And it's like a big deal to leave that sort of fantasy of the dream job. So I bought this for myself with money from my female members of my family to say, I promise to myself that I will leave this job, this client, which I did. And here I am instead, on bed talking with you. So it's really fun. And this one, this is from a designer from Lebanon called Selim, I've forgotten his name, Selim something. And I love the ocean, and it just reminds me of the ocean. It's a bit what you were saying about bringing happiness and joy to your everyday. And these bring me joy because they remind me of my family and because of the colours, this reminds me of all of my favourite things. The sky on a sunny day, the ocean, holidays, sailing, all of that. And actually this one I used to have like a 1970s sapphire number on this finger, and a piece I had made for myself in India. But, they got stolen when my jewellery got stolen. And this ring, I just purely bought this one to keep the sapphire one on because it was a little bit too big for me, but I didn't want to get it altered because I thought, maybe it will change. I'm always a bit concerned about that. Maybe it will break, or maybe it will lose the integrity of the piece. So I sort of bought this to jam it down onto my finger. So this is all that's left, the sapphire piece left. But anyway, these make me happy every day. Thank you, Katherine, for joining us. It's been such a pleasure. I really could talk to you all day. So if you want to get in touch with Katherine or subscribe to her new newsletter, Elevate the Everyday, you'll find all of her details in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. Au revoir, à la prochaine. Bye bye.